Welcome, 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 welcome to Let's Talk, a new edition of Win TV. I know you all are confused. Is this Win TV or Let's Talk? It's both. It's both, but we're kind of transitioning our title to Let's Talk. As I said before, many years ago, my dad used to write a column in the Washington Informer called Let's Talk, and I thought I would revive that because that's what we do here on Win TV, in addition to other programs we're going to be bringing to you. But this program is talking with folks who are makers and what is it, makers and shakers? Did I say it right? Shakers and whatever, but people who are really making a difference in our community. So I'm Denise Rollard, publisher of the Washington Informer and host of this show. And I'm so glad that you're here with us today. I hope you've had a chance to pick up a copy of this week's Washington Informer. It is available on newsstands, and we've got some great stories in here on the front page, actually. We are taking a look at the renaming of Marion Barry Avenue that's going to take place on tomorrow, Saturday, November the 16th. We also are looking at a story that we're going to be talking about on the show, or highlighting on the show today, with the Anacostia High School students who co-authored an environmental poetry book. Our environmental reporter, Kayla Benjamin, will be talking to them. And then remembering local civil rights leader Maudine Cooper, who headed the Washington Urban League for many, many years, was a high-ranking DC government employee, and we lost her about 2 weeks ago. And so Hamil Harris did a story on that. So those are our front page stories this week. Hope you'll pick up a copy. But also, if you don't want to pick up a copy, you can also read the digital edition online at washingtoninformer.com. Again, that's washingtoninformer.com. There's a digital copy. And while you're there, there's going to be a little box that will pop up and ask you to actually sign up to get our daily newsletter that we distribute called Win Daily. We like that Win, Washington Informer News. So you'll get Win Daily and a whole lot of other offers that we provide for our readers throughout the week. If you're already a part of our network, tell your friends so that they can be a part of our network as well. Please share this broadcast on your social media platforms and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, soon to come Threads, Nextdoor, and of course, YouTube. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Washington Informer TV. That's one word, no spaces, Washington Informer TV. We also want to remind you, and we're going to keep announcing this, and then we'll probably do some other things as we get closer to those big dates of the Prince George's Spelling Bee and the DC Public Schools Spelling Bee. They are in process now. Schools are signing up. If you have a child that's in the District of Columbia, or well, let's start with Prince George's County. If you have a child at a Prince George's County school, they can participate in the spelling bee, and there is you can contact us here at 202-561-4100. Again, that's 202-561-4100. If you have a 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th grader in Prince George's County schools, they can participate in the spelling bee. So call us up and we can tell you how to get information on that. Or you can go to our website at wicharities.org. Again, the website is wicharities.org. Same thing with the DC Public Schools Spelling Bee. Now, we go in the district, we go from 3rd to 8th grades, and you have to sign up through your school unless you're homeschooled or, unless you're homeschooled. But you can sign up through your school. So make sure, if your school has not signed up already, I think we have probably another 2 weeks for schools to sign up to participate. Please talk to your principal or your language arts teacher, and they let them know that you want to participate in the spelling bee, and sign up and get your child in this great competition. It's really, really, really a lot of fun. It's tough, but who knows? I keep saying the next national winner could be sitting in your house this weekend just reading, because that's what makes good spellers. Good readers make good spellers. So today we have the privilege of hosting some partners who collaborated to publish, speaking of words and reading and writing books. They've written books, a book of poems, essays, and photos. I love photographers and photos with a group of Anacostia students. And their book was titled Through My Eyes, Environmental Problems and Possibilities. These are students from Anacostia High School. We're going to have Caroline Brewer, who was the editor of the project, with us, along with Xavier Brown, the Anacostia ambassador, and Justice Forty, summer internship coordinator from the University of the District of Columbia, and Diane Lill, director of the Education for Conservation Nation. We're also really excited to have a friend and one of the hardest working women in business. That's why she has the title Busy Bee, Juanita Britton, who's going to be with us today to talk about her exciting and must go to, must buy, must be there upcoming holiday bazaar that's going to open on Black Friday. That's why I call it Black Friday, because anybody that's Black needs to be at the Busy Bee Bazaar. But we'll talk to Juanita in a little bit. We also have Corey Atkinson, fantastic leader and president of the Washington Association of Black Journalists, who's going to talk to us about journalism and the challenges and triumphs of the industry, but also about an upcoming event in December that WABJ will be hosting. And I have just been amazed to watch this organization grow, particularly under Mr. Atkins' leadership. And last but not least, of course, our brilliant lifestyle reporter, Brenda Seiler, will be speaking to Karen Ann Daniels, who is the director of programming for Folger Shakespeare Library and the artistic director of Folger. So you can tell we have another informational packed show that's offering a lot of resources to you and things to do. But before we go into the actual program, just want to remind you all, Chevy's produced a little video, the groundbreaking for the Go-Go Museum in Anacostia and the ribbon cutting for the Go-Go mobile van was held on Wednesday. And I had the wonderful honor to interview Spike Lee prior to that, who was joined by Sugar Bear to talk about EU's famous song, The Butt, and why Spike thought it was definitely needed for that movie that we all grew up with and loved. And he used it in the movie School Days. So how did I forget? I'm going to say movie we loved, and then all of a sudden I forget. Well, I got a birthday coming soon, you all, so maybe you'll understand what's happening here. But at any rate, it was wonderful to talk to them. And the event at the museum where the museum will be on Anacostia, on Martin Luther King Avenue in Southeast, was really well attended. So we've got a short video that Chevy is going to share with us really quickly. Yeah, so I mean, it was a big crowd out there on Wednesday, and normally the bands, the go-go bands that run throughout the city are usually on a flatbed truck, and now they have a full-fledged bus with a stage on the top, and they participate in the parades. Ron Moten has them out there. I know we do the MLK parade, so they're really going to represent well on January 15th, the Martin Luther King parade next year. They have been to the Palisades parade, every parade in the city, with the exception of the Cherry Blossom parade. That's interesting. We might have to see if we can get them into that, because we want to promote go-go as our local, it's DC music, right? It's our official sound for the District of Columbia. So may as well introduce it to the folks who are coming from all over the world to the Cherry Blossoms, because go-go is a global music genre now. Everybody knows about go-go. So anyway, that was a great event. And of course, that's going to lead us into the renaming of Good Hope Road that will take place on, as I said, tomorrow, um, November the 18th, on Good Hope Road, which will now be known as Marion Barry Avenue. So a lot of things going on over here in Ward 8 and Southeast. And of course, we are so proud of our community, despite all the stories we keep hearing about, the negative things that happen in DC and in east of the river. But, there's a lot of positive stuff going on as well. And you're going to hear those stories here at WIN TV on Let's Talk. So I am now going to bring on the Washington Informer's dynamic environmental reporter, Kayla Benjamin, who will introduce us to the teachers and students and folks who've been working at Anacostia High School to produce this wonderful book, Through My Eyes, through my Anacostia eyes, environmental problems and possibilities. Kayla, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Ms. Denise. I'm excited to be here. I was really excited about this story. I thought it was so exciting and interesting. And when I went to the book launch, these 12 students from Anacostia High School read aloud from their poetry, and it's incredibly inspiring. So I'm excited to share more about the project with our readers and our watchers here on WIN TV.
Well, Kayla, these students have become like superstars now. I mean, we're glad that they could take time out of their busy schedules to at least, well, they're not going to be with us, but at least to talk about what they're doing, because we have seen them all over the place, but we certainly didn't want, and with this great story you did, we want to make sure that we highlight them. So I'm going to hand the show over to you and your guests, and see you in a minute.
Incredible. Thanks so much. I'm excited to invite on some of the folks I spoke to for this front page story. Everybody should check it out in this week's paper. I'll be chatting with Carolyn Brewer, a longtime literacy activist, children's book author, and the editor of Through My Anacostia Eyes, Environmental Problems and Possibilities, as well as Xavier Brown, who coordinated the environmental justice internship that was hosted by UDC, through which this book was created, and Diane Lill, the Director of Education for Conservation Nation, which was one of the project's main sponsors. So welcome everybody to Let's Talk. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'm going to kick it to Xavier first to tell us a little bit about the EJ internship, the students who joined it this summer, and how that program came to include writing a whole book.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Thank you again for having us on the show. So this is the second year of this program, hosting this particular summer internship. The first year was in 2022, and we had about 5 students, and we had some returning students this past 2023 summer, and we had like an additional maybe eight new students. And kind of my position with the so I wear a dual hat in my position. I'm the director of an early college at UDC's building out at Anacostia High School, but I'm also the ambassador for the Anacostia River through a federal government program called the Urban Waters Federal Partnership. And through that partnership, we're connected to a bunch of the federal government agencies. And so there's an internship that was created with Biden's Justice 40 program. This was like the first of its kind. And just to try to figure out a way to connect under-resourced communities, get money, create programs and figure out ways to have meaningful experiences in the summertime. And that's pretty much what we did. And I knew, Carolyn from previous work, and we were talking, and the timing just worked out, and she just kind of really brought her magic to the space, and everything really unfolded from there. And it was through, I just want to make sure everybody knows, it was through a summer program that OSSI puts together through CTE. They have these academies, and the students at Anacostia High School are either in an engineering academy or they're in a public leadership academy. And it's through, so we kind of piece things together, but it worked out beautifully.
Incredible. Thank you. So, you segued beautifully to my question for Carolyn. Tell me about this book and why it matters for students to write and to write about nature.
Thank you so much. Yes, so Through My Anacostia Eyes was born out of Nature Wise, which is a program that blends literacy and environmental exploration. And Conservation Nation and I partnered earlier this year to bring Nature Wise to teachers through teacher training and also to students. So the Anacostia students were the first students that we worked with in terms of the student engagement program, thanks to the invitation from Xavier and the support from all the other partners. So Nature Wise is all about writing and reflecting on environmental experiences, and they got to have a lot of experiences this summer going to Anacostia Park, which is just steps away from the school, taking a river boat ride up the Anacostia from Bladensburg Park, visiting Kenilworth Gardens, going to the Matthew Henson Center, Earth Conservation Corps, where they got to meet eagles and falcons and owls, and even touch them and smell them. Which was a new experience. It's not easy to really get that close and observe wildlife. So they did that. They went to the EPA, they went to the DC Water and Sewer Facility. So they got to see a lot of what is happening in the environment from a lot of different perspectives. And so what they've given us in this book is a book of poems, essays, reports, and images that reveal how they felt emotionally, what they touched physically, what they tasted, and what they heard in their summer internship dances with nature. This book is about student voice. Their voices are poetic, they're rhythmic, and they're vulnerable. And that's something also that we can cherish. And what they say in 72 pages, 56 photos, and 44 pieces of writing is a never before told story of love, loss, history, healing, hope, reclamation, and anticipation in Anacostia and for the whole world. Finally, what they say gives shape to their identities, their problems, and their possibilities, their expectations, their aspirations, and their knowing that they are one with nature. What they say gives us a window to their souls and their willingness to marshal the tools of self-expression and represent. And so this book, as you already know and have so beautifully shared with the public in this week's edition of the Washington Former, is a rich vehicle for storytelling. It was a whirlwind experience, but I have been left changed by the voices of these students.
And just because you really gave us such a deep understanding of what all is in this book, where can people find it if they're interested in checking it out?
The book can be ordered at any bookstore online. We recommend bookshop.org because bookshop.org supports local bookstores. So bookstores like Mahogany Books in Southeast DC or Sankofa, that's near Howard, and also Politics and Prose, which has several locations throughout Washington, DC. And it not only supports bookstores locally, but anywhere in the country. And so bookshop.org is what we represent for purchasing the book. You can also contact a bookstore, any bookstore, and ask them to order the book and you can pick it up, or ask them to order the book and have it shipped to you. And that's a big, yeah. It's a big deal for the students.
Yes, I noticed like you can find it at bookshop.org, which is where I get a lot of books when I can't find them in person, but it's also on Politics and Prose. It's also at Barnes and Noble. It's everywhere. So that's really exciting. I, can't imagine doing any work that widespread when I was in high school. So I'm very impressed with all of them. I want to shift the conversation a little bit. Diane, will you tell us kind of what the role of Conservation Nation was here and how a program like this, mixing literacy and youth exploration of nature, what does that have to do with Conservation Nation's mission, and where does that fit with the other programs that you do?
Sure, thank you. Conservation Nation is a nonprofit that was founded in 2021, but it has very deep roots in DC because it emerged from Friends of the National Zoo. We're working now to build a more inclusive community of wildlife conservationists, and we support the work of women, people of color, Indigenous peoples, and marginalized communities around the world in lifting those barriers to create a stronger conservation field. We're also building an education program that I'm very excited about to give more students equitable access to a really diverse representation of inspiring role models in conservation careers. We also want more children to have equitable access to fun experiences in nature. So for teachers here in DC, we created a free educator's guide for planning nature-based field trips. And we're giving out field trip grants to help schools with covering transportation costs, if that's a barrier. We're also getting ready to launch a new set of lessons for grades 5 through 8 that feature diverse conservation champions, and we'll be offering stipends for teachers to give us feedback on those lessons this spring. And we are, of course, so grateful for our partnership with Carolyn, and we'll be sponsoring several educator trainings on NatureWise with her this winter. So the best way to stay in the loop for all of this as we grow this program is to join our Conservation Nation Academy email list. And you can do that through the education section of our website, which is conservationnation.org.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all of that information. I wanted to quickly go back because I realized I forgot to ask, how much is the book if folks want to go ahead and buy it online?
It's $19.95, and all of the profits go back to Conservation Nation to support other NatureWise activities.
Okay. And just to open the floor to all three of you, what would you want readers of this book or of The Informer to know about the book, about the project, that I haven't thought to ask you yet?
Xavier or Diane, go first.
I
Yeah,
just
I'll
hope
go.
that people will
Go
read
ahead,
this
Diane.
book. I was just going to say, Xavier, I just hope people will actually pick it up and read it. You can see on the cover these students at Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens. Their words are so powerful, and we really want people to listen to what these students had to say with nature as their inspiration, but they gave so many beautiful reflections about their own lives as well. So I just hope that you will all read this book.
Yeah, I echo what Diane said, and I would just want to add that as you read the book, just know that this is what investment can look like when we want to invest in violence prevention and things of that nature in the community. These are the types of programs you can invest in, and this wasn't like a multi-million-dollar program. You know what I mean? We did this on a small budget. So imagine if more programs like this were invested in, the types of impact you can have, and you can expose students. It was students that they lived in the Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens area on that side of town in Northeast. They'd never been to Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens. It's like, wow, this is amazing. Some students hadn't been on the Anacostia River before, from actually being on the river. Some people have never seen a falcon before. All these different types of things, all these different types of experiences that are hyper local to where they live. So I think hopefully this is an example of why investments, when you're talking about investing in violence prevention and things of that nature and supporting Black youth, this is how it's done. And also the last thing, that there's a lot of Black brilliance in Southeast at Anacostia High School.
Absolutely. I just want to piggyback on what Xavier said and what Diane said, to say that what came out of these students is normal. This is what is happening in Southeast DC. This is what is happening in public schools all across the country. The majority of our children overwhelmingly are hungry for these kinds of opportunities and hungry to show their brilliance. So we are very excited about the partnership that made it possible for these students to explore nature, to reflect on it, and to be a part of publishing a book.
Amazing. Thank you, all three of you, for joining us today to chat more about it. Anybody watching, you can purchase the book online. You can also find out more about the project in this week's edition of The Informer. And now I will throw it back to our wonderful publisher, Ms. Denise Wolark-Barnes.
Thank you, Kayla. That was a fantastic interview, and I am a book addict, so I will definitely be getting a copy and might even share a copy. You know, we're looking for gifts, so this is one way of supporting as well as providing gifts to loved ones to show what our young people are doing in the city. So I'm excited and glad that you had an opportunity to do that interview and share that story, like you said, with us on WIN TV and with our readers of the Washington Informer.
I have a copy. I wish I had thought to get it off the bookshelf before I started. But I read it basically cover to cover, and I just thought it was brilliant. So
Wow,
I'm excited to be sharing out about it.
Okay. Well, thanks so much. And we'll see what's coming next. All righty. So, as we said, we got to support our young people, and we always are hearing about the bad things they're involved in, but some of them are doing some amazing, amazing things. And really, I'm so glad to see our local media, not just us, but our local media finding those stories. They're not hard to find, but finding those stories and reporting them. And our next guest probably even has her story to tell about not only how she has excelled in business and this annual holiday bazaar that she does, but even how she has young people engaged and she's worked with and mentored over the years. Busy Bee, how are you?
Oh, girl, hello. How are you? How's everybody? We were just partying just a few days ago at that fabulous ribbon cutting of that bus, the go-go bus. I love the whole concept.
Oh, is it? I know you would. I mean, you always think out of the box. I was at, as you know, I was at the Reagan Airport the other day and saw people sitting in there getting their nails done on that little electronic machine, and bought a book from Mahogany. And took a picture with your staff that loves you dearly. So you're doing some great things. I want to tell folks, when you go to Reagan, everybody's going to be in the airports in the next couple of days. Make sure you stop by, what is it?
The Goods.
Yes,
and right at Terminal D.
Exactly. And I will be there in a couple of days, going back again. So looking forward to it. So now let's talk about Black Friday.
Wait a minute. And let me tell you, I don't know if you noticed, I have a Starbucks that'll be right next door, and that'll be open in about 10 days over the holiday season. So I'm excited about that too. And I've got, it's so fabulous because I was able to train 3 young people, straight, 2 of them right from our community, to be co-managers of that Starbucks. And it's a big deal. I'm talking about sending them to Seattle and everything. So I'm just blessed with that right there.
That is amazing. One day we're going to get you on to kind of find out what's the magic sauce. How did Juanita come, from Detroit, Michigan? I don't know how you got here and what you started off with, but you have not stopped since your feet touched the ground. You've been flying, not walking.
Yeah, thank you. You too, girl, in your father's footsteps. Come on.
Everybody says you have a book in there somewhere. So let's talk about, is that coming too?
Well, I'm working on it. I've got a young lady. We're going to do a video book, very unique concept. It's going to be uniquely different than just a video and me talking, as well as a book to follow it. So that's coming.
Wonderful. Okay, I knew that. I just don't know why. I just knew it, but
get it out of me too.
I know. So, every Thanksgiving night, I'm so glad that you have given folks an answer, because I have, we've seen those people running to the mall, standing in those long lines, fighting and screaming and running through aisles, killing each other, just trying to get some kind of bargain, when the place to go is the Shop Till You Drop Black Friday weekend bazaar at Shiloh Baptist Church. Let's talk about what you got stored for us this year. Now, what year is this for the Holiday Expo?
This is really year 3, but I like to make sure that we know it's 33, although it's the 31st annual, because COVID took 2 years from us. So
Right,
33
yeah.
years, but the 31st annual. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. That's amazing. That's amazing.
I tell the story in 1990. I had Bernard Gray holding my hand of Maya Gallery. Bless his soul, he's gone now. And Lee with Wonderful Things. Those 2 businesses were holding my hands in 1990 at the very first.
Lee Hairston.
Yeah. Was holding my hands at the very first show. And in fact, it was snowing, and I had 9 artisans, and it was a big deal to have 9 artisans to come together on a Black Friday. They'd never even heard of it, because we, like you said, we only knew to run to the mall. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm inside, and I want to open at 10, and it's 10:15, and we late, and I'm like, no, this is not how. Anyway, opened up, went outside about 9:45, and just telling the people, okay, we're about ready. And Denise, it was snowing, and there were 100 people in line waiting. It was so exciting, and that was in 1990. And I still have some of those customers. One of them is Lorraine Green. She's actually a DC official, and she was in line. And I remember they had a restaurant, and I bought as many people as I could coffee, because they were waiting in the snow for that event. So it's 33 years later, and I must say now we've moved to 2 floors, everybody, of artisans, designers, entrepreneurs, people right from our community, and then people right from the diaspora from 17 different countries that will be at Shiloh Baptist Church, 9th and P Street, starting Black Friday, and we go every Saturday till Christmas Eve, till the Christmas weekend. So we've got over 40 of the businesses that have been doing this show for 20 years, Denise.
Wow.
And I've
amazing.
Got 11 businesses that have been doing it 25 years. And I have 4 businesses that have been with me all 31 years.
So, every year, my favorite is, and I can't remember her name right now, that does the hats.
She's your favorite, though, right?
I know. I've been doing this the whole show. That does the hats.
Oh, Helen Stubbs from Jersey.
No, from New York with the hats.
You're speaking Ona?
Huh?
Oh, Ella. She has a British accent.
No. So you got a lot of hat people there, and I'm on her.
Ella. I've got Ona from New York, who does the unique hats. Oh, are you talking about Harlem hats?
Yes.
And her brother, who does the Hat Man?
No.
So we've got everybody. We've got so many unique designers. I just named off.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the young lady from New York.
Who sells the knit hats, the knitted hats that everybody with locks wears them.
Yeah, the suede hats.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, Juanita. There are people like your customers who wait for this, because this is the one time of year they can go and support that vendor who gives them just what they're looking for. And so give us the hours, the times that it's going to.
Yes. So Shiloh, the show opens up at 10 a.m. and it goes from 10 to 6. And that is Black Friday and Saturday. That's December 2nd, the next Saturday, then the next Saturday, the 9th, the 16th, and the 22nd and the 23rd. The Busy Bee Shop Till You Drop, 10 to 6 and 10 to 7. And the one beautiful thing about it, Denise, I don't know if you remember, sometime they used to charge $1. Then it went to $2. And as your mother and my mother would have it, wisdom out of Detroit, they were like, I don't want to pay to go shopping. I don't want to go pay to go shopping. So I decided that all I really want is a smile when people come through the door. So that's what general admission is, a smile.
That's right.
You just gotta, and then, you know, you're going to be smiling because we've got valet parking, and you just need to tip the valet parking well, because I do not charge for valet parking. I've got it all covered. Because that area has gentrified. There are lots of buildings. It's very dense. There's no parking.
Right.
There
exactly.
is a very expensive parking lot. At you know, not expensive, but we're not used to paying for parking in this city. So for me, I would just park. But now that I have valet, you can do the valet, pull right up front, let them park your car, and come on in and shop till you drop.
And you got a great DJ there who not only sells music, but actually keeps the mood going. So it's a great, it's, you know, I really miss what the National Council of Negro Women used to do. Remember the Black Family Reunion?
Oh, no, of course.
Well, actually, this is that, because folks get together, they haven't seen each other all year. I mean, it's a whole family reunion type thing. And it's not just for Black folk now. I just want folks to know out there, you know, it's not just for us, but it caters to us. And I think that's the thing that I like about it so much, that, you know, you got some tremendous artisans and others that are there.
Well, I will share that you're so right. I'll share that last year I did a little bit of special marketing, and I got a lot more brown people through there. There were a lot of Latino folk that came through and did some shopping. There was some good old white folks that love mug cloth just like we do. They came shopping. And, you know, when I used to do State Department and Peace Corps, it was so many people from around the world that love African designs that I got a chance to meet. So I was able to do a little deeper reach out. So hopefully I've communicated with them and asked them to share so that they could bring their friends, so that we do become more, we do have different types of customers and more customers for the artisans, because that's my goal, is to help these businesses. You know, 41% of our businesses in the local businesses, and mainly Black businesses, had to close during COVID.
Right.
And our businesses, they depend on this holiday season.
Yeah.
This is where they can make a third of their whole year's money during the holiday season, because we're spending our disposable money, it seems, is for this time of year. And like you, Denise, some of us wait for this to do our shopping all, you know, not just Christmas. We wait to get our, you know, summer clothes here.
Yeah.
Some people bring in a birthday list and they buy all the things for
that
the
they
people
need
that
throughout
they buy
the year.
for the whole year.
Yeah.
I mean, a pair of socks or a piece of African art or a nice gold pair of earrings. I mean, we have goldsmiths, silversmiths, you know, hat designers, couture designers, meaning when that designer makes your one dress, that's your one dress fit just for your body. And we have an assortment of men's items as well. So
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, I especially have lots of men's items because of your husband. Lafayette, everybody, Lafayette Barnes is the most wonderful guy, but he loves fashion and he loves a good deal.
And he loves to shop.
Oh, he loves to shop, and he loves communicating with everybody.
Right.
So he will come every weekend and
bounce
around at every booth and communicate. And he loves communicating as he does as much as shopping. So,
right.
Like you said,
well, I'll tell him you said that, Juanita. He might come twice a day now.
And Denise, you know, you talked about the community. Every weekend, the community camaraderie builds. It builds.
Oh yeah, no question.
And
no question.
By the time we get to the last weekend, I'm in tears, because I see that this event is so needed, and it feels so good that folk are coming together and just talking, and they've done their shop and they've got their grandkids with them, and they're showing their grandkids that this is the way we shop, and they're introducing the grandchildren.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Karen Jones Collier, who said, you know, this is awesome. She thought, I think she's talking about this. She could have been talking about the other earlier show, but she said this is awesome. Yeah, and so we want, you know, just hope that folks will get out. We're glad that you could spend some time with us today. I know you're busy trying to pull it all together. So thanks a lot for being with us, Juanita. I will not be there on Black Friday. I'm headed out of town, but you know you'll see me the following weekend.
Well, you're going to stop in the goods, so we're doing all kinds of Black shopping and
exactly. Right. Okay. Have a good one. All right. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Yeah, if you haven't been, we should have had some photographs, but if you haven't been to you know, the Holiday Expo, I just want to pass the word. You are missing an event. So make sure you get there on one of those Saturdays between now and Christmas. And like she said, you know, people come in to buy gifts for others. A lot of times they walk around mostly with things for themselves, but it is a good place to stack up on birthday presents or other kinds of gifts that you want to give to folks throughout the year. And it's a good old family reunion place. So speaking of family reunion, we're going to talk about the family of journalists here in Washington, D.C. And it's my pleasure to bring on Corey Atkinson, president of the Washington Association of Black Journalists. Corey, thanks for your patience and thanks for joining us today. And I'll just need you to take yourself off of mute so we can hear you. There you go.
Great.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Denise, for this opportunity, and hello to your viewers.
Thank you. Tell me now, let's talk a little bit about, you know, WABJ and how you got involved with the organization.
Right. So the Washington Association of Black Journalists is a membership organization started in 1975 to advocate for more newsroom diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we also offer a wide variety of professional development programming for our members to help them meet the demand in this industry and also to be competent and marketable in their newsrooms. I've been a longtime member of NABJ, which is our parent organization, and several of WBJ's founding members were also founders of the national organization. So before serving as WBJ president, I previously served on our national board as student representative, and also I also served a one-year term as parliamentarian. So NABJ has given me a lot. I've met some incredible mentors who have been supportive. So this is my way, you know, while I'm still climbing, because I'm still a young professional in the field. So while I'm still climbing, you know, I definitely want to help NABJ have a active and strong presence here in the DMV.
So Corey, tell us your story though. How did you get into journalism and well, you know, a little bit about your career path?
Great. So I'm Jamaican, born and raised. While I grew up with both parents, I spent most of my time with my grandmother. And I remember going to school, well, in high school, you know, she would say, Corey, can you bring me a copy of the Daily Jamaica Gleaner? And we pretty much bond over watching the evening news and also watching the TV. And especially when it's time around for elections, she will grill me and ask me questions about which candidates are running for different constituencies. So I think, you know, that has definitely influenced my decision to pursue journalism as a career. So my grandmother definitely, you know, played a huge role in that.
And so can you share kind of what are you doing now professionally?
Great. So I currently working at Bloomberg Law, which is a part of the Bloomberg organization. So I cover labor and employment law from Bloomberg. I've been in this role for 2 years now, and it's a very exciting time. You know, there's a lot of developments, you know, happening in the labor and employment space. So I pretty much write, you know, analyses and features to kind of break down the implications that these developments are having on the workplace.
You talked a lot about how WABJ sort of tries to address the issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the journalism profession. What are some of the challenges that you think that journalists of color, particularly or specifically Black journalists, are experiencing now. Have we, I know we cracked open the door, but how far is that door open for Black journalists?
Right. So, we as advocates of diversity, we definitely have to be proactive with our advocacy efforts. So, as a reporter who cover labor and employment law, I've seen cases where, employers, take advantage of their workers' lack of knowledge about, the local and federal workplace protections for them. So I've made it a point of duty to, to educate my membership about the different legal safeguards, to ensuring that whenever they're advocating for themselves in their newsroom, they can, cite those protections and to build a stronger case. So that's on one front, and also we continue to have conversations one-on-one with different newsroom leaders across the country. And of course, continuing to pushing them to, to increase their diversity and also to create a welcoming space, for journalists of color.
With of course, we represent the Black press, and a lot of our staff members are members. I'm a member as well, full disclosure, but are members of WABJ. And we know, those of us in the industry like yourself, that, as things are changing, technology is changing, that there's, a big loss of jobs. And then AI is having an impact now on journalism careers. I mean, is that something you all are addressing as well? And what do you, if you could look through what is it? What do you call the ball? A crystal ball.
Right. That's a very important question. Of course, AI is playing an increasing role, not only in journalism, but also across various industries. So this is definitely a topic and here that we're monitoring. I've been speaking with, newsroom leaders, understanding how are they implementing AI tools in their newsrooms, and also to ensure, that they don't replace workers. That's one of the biggest fears right now. So of course, this is an area that we're closely monitoring.
You all have a big event coming up in December. I call it a big event because I'm so honored to be one of your honorees. But talk about what's happening in December.
Right. So we are definitely gearing up for our second annual special honors and scholarship gala at our university. I created this program under my leadership team here at WABJ to create this space to recognize our own, right? It's very important that despite the challenges that we all are facing, we have to pause and take a moment and recognize, the trailblazers who have been making their mark and opening doors for young journalists like myself. And, and I'm also, and as you know, you're one of our honorees. For your listeners, for your viewers, Denise is our 2023 President's awardee. And this award is pretty much recognizes our a WABJ member who have made, tremendous contributions, not only to the organization, but also to the DMV area. So I just want to congratulate you. It's a well-deserved recognition. Your work speaks for itself, so I won't go into that. But we're very excited about honoring our 8 honorees this year, and also we are going to award scholarships to 2 students. We created a scholarship in honor of our founding president, Paul Brock, who unfortunately passed away 2 years ago. And so this scholarship will support a journalism student here in the DMV. And also another scholarship that the board recently created is to support students who want to do investigative reporting. As I said earlier, we have to be very proactive, with all we're advocating for more diversity in our newsroom. So we created the scholarship program to help build that pipeline of investigative reporters, because like, that, there is still that we're still having that fight for for more, Black reporters to enter mainstream media. So we created this.
I know why you stumbled over that word.
Right, yeah. So we created this this scholarship program to kind of help, entice and to bring more excitement to students, to help them become more to pursue careers in investigative journalism.
And sometimes I think that's where the Black press comes in, because we, actually help to feed journalists into other opportunities out there. I mean, we love to get them and keep them, but sometimes they move on to what they think are greener pastures, and we want to support them in those greener pastures.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation. Are you all still have tickets available for the event, or?
So the last time I checked this about 2 hours ago, we literally have about 4 tickets available.
Wow.
So yeah, it
Wonderful.
definitely exceeded our expectations. We were we were budgeting for 250 attendees this year, and we are now over 350.
Wow,
So it
that's
definitely
wonderful.
exceeded, and we are bringing on new partners and sponsors. Folks are very excited to support WABJ's mission, because we're a nonprofit organization. So we're constantly working to evolve, to meet the needs of this moment and to get more resources to help our members.
So how long does your term last?
So my term ends in December 2024. So, while I'm focused on our gala in 2 weeks, and next year, will be my final term, my final year, I should say. I'm somewhat in a transitional mode right now, because I want to make sure that we put in place a strong team of leaders who will continue to work, who will continue the work that we're currently doing, and also to build on that work and to hopefully do a better job.
Wonderful. So people can join WABJ.
Most definitely.
And do you have to be a journalist to be a member?
Well, while we're a journalism organization, we welcome membership from anyone who respect and understand our mission.
Wonderful. So we put the information up. Hopefully people will reach out, because even if you can't make it to this year's event, there are events that take place all year long. And you do a lot of training, as well as mixers and places where people can come and network. And even those, early college students that are looking for opportunities, this is the place to go. So I want to thank you for being with us and congratulate you for, it looks like a successful tenure as president, a great event that's coming up, and looking for more in 2024.
Thank you for having me.
That's going to be my theme next year, Corey. That's going to be my theme. Looking for more in 2024.
That's a good tagline.
All righty, yo. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being with us. So that's really exciting. I'm thrilled to be one of the honorees. And if you go to their website, wabajdc.org, I think you can get a chance to see, one, how to join the organization, and look at some of the others who will be honored. I think there's 6 honorees plus the 2 students that will receive scholarships. So it's real exciting, and looking forward to a great event. I won't give you too many details unless you want one of those 4 tickets. Will be held at Blackburn Center at Howard University on December the 2nd. So speaking of Howard University, my HU alum and friend, and of course our dynamic lifestyle editor, Brenda Seiler, is going to join us now so that we can meet and talk to Karen Ann Daniels. Brenda, welcome.
Hello. And I'm not an HU alum.
Why did I say that?
I don't know. My sister is a double alum.
Well, you are.
Spellman.
Yes, thank you. As someone said last night, they said, okay, so I didn't go to Howard, but I can say HBCU.
That's right.
You know. So I think all of us that spent time on those campuses really love and appreciate. But you still, are a cheerleader for Howard. So I will,
Absolutely. I was
an
born. I was
advocate.
born on the I was born on the campus of Howard. I was born in Freedman's Hospital.
Yes, yes. Okay, all right. Well, Brenda, I'm not going to delay this conversation because I want to get Karen on and really hear about what's happening at Folger Shakespeare Library. So it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Denise. And welcome, everybody. This next section on Let's Talk, we are going to be talking with Karen Ann Daniels. She has two titles. She is Director of Programming for Folger Shakespeare Library, and she is the Artistic Director of Folger Theatre here in DC, up in the Capitol Hill area. I had the pleasure of attending their latest performance, The Winter's Tale. But before we get into that, I think Karen Ann wants to talk about the fact that they are back in at their renovated theater. And let's talk about that and let people know that, wow, the space is beautiful. There's still some work to be done, but this play that is on now is the first to be back in the renovated as we've opened the area.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brenda, for inviting me to be here today. We are really excited at the Folger because we've been in this renovation for about 4 years now. It sort of began right when the pandemic began, and we've added about 12,000 square feet to the footprint of this building underneath our historic building. And added a lot of space so that more people can see the collections that we have. Come and hang out. We'll have a cafe opening soon and some other, good surprises, as well as our library will be back up and running, hopefully in the spring of next year. And then, of course, right now we have the privilege, at Folger Theatre to welcome audiences back into the building with The Winter's Tale.
So we are so pleased with that. That was my first time going into the building last weekend. Oh. And it was wonderful. It was opening night for The Winter's Tale. And some may consider it as being one of the lesser known plays by William Shakespeare. I knew that I had not heard about it. I was an English major in college and I had 7 books for my Shakespeare class alone. So tell us a little bit about The Winter's Tale.
Yeah, The Winter's Tale is definitely one of the ones that's less known. It's much later in the career and the life of Shakespeare as a writer. And it kind of takes a lot of the things that when you think about Shakespeare and you think, oh, comedy and tragedy, he's at this point in his career is like, let's just put it all together. And so this play, I think, really is him kind of, experimenting, taking the lessons he's learned over the years and evolving it and trying something new. So the play kind of begins, normally where it might end, right, which is the tragedy is the very first part. We start off with the birthday party, and then we, kind of find out very, very quickly that the king of Sicilia is suspicious of his wife and his best friend, and he kind of spirals out from that point forward. And then we get to sort of the second half. 16 years pass, and we get into the second half. He's banished his daughter. He's kind of divorced from his friends. His wife is now been passed on, and we get into the second end into Bohemia, which gets a little silly, but it does actually help move us towards what I think is a really satisfying ending, even though there's some really some fun questions. It ends rather quickly, like, okay, everybody's happy again, and then we're done with the play. But it's a lot of fun. You get the whole gamut, the range of all of the things in one show.
Well, the cast is wonderful. It was well acted, but of course, they were guided by director Tamala Woodard. Mm-hmm. And talk about her and bringing her in. She's not from this area, but that's, it doesn't matter. You all put together a wonderful group of actors, but the way things move, that's her guidance. So talk about Tamala and her approach to this production.
Yeah, it's so funny. Tamala, I met her a few years back when I was in New York, and I got invited to a workshop that she was working on, and I got a chance to see like her process. So more than the outcome, and of course I've seen plays that she's done, but I got to see how she works, and it was one of the things that made me really interested in her. She's always thinking and centering the audience in the room. She's centering the humanity of the actors and all of the people that help move a production along, which I think is just, not everybody's, I think it's sort of is egoless in their process. And so she really created a dynamic and a very trusting space, really created a world of this play that we thought we could see ourselves in, like who we are now was sort of her approach on Winter's Tale. And instead of, trying to find like a concept, time and place to put it in, she wanted this to feel more like a real reflection on life as we currently live it in this sort of post-pandemic beginnings. So she's been phenomenal to work with.
Well, it shows in terms of the outcome and how the cast does their work and moves about the stage. And in particular, I just want to take note of two of the performers, not that, they're no lesser, everybody works beautifully together, but is the name Hadi Tabal?
Yep, Hadi Tabal.
Okay, he plays King. Yes.
Yeah.
And there were so many times where he was expending so much energy. And I had a chance to talk to him after the performance. And I said, you must have felt like you wanted to take a dunk in one of those ice baths that the athletes like to do afterwards. And he said to me, he said, well, yeah, the way that things moved, it is somewhat athletic in terms of how the motion and the acting takes place. So it was just wonderful. Also, I wanted to acknowledge Antoinette, who plays the Queen, because though the King was just over the top, she was very steady, very focused. I felt she knew who she was, and she did her role beautifully as well as the other cast. So wonderful casting in that. I think it's important to talk about what Folgers has done in terms of Shakespeare. A lot of people may think Shakespeare is just way over my head. I don't know how I can understand this, but we are now looking at Shakespeare from a more contemporary viewpoint because the themes and the messages are the same. You don't have to be in the wear of the day back when Shakespeare was writing. You can wear a business suit like many of the male characters were wearing in the production. And if you listen closely and see how people move and respond to one another, you will understand what's going on the stage.
Yeah.
And I love that you're doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think we forget sometimes with theater, and I think Shakespeare is like kind of any other form of theater, that when it's being performed, all the clues are there, the visual clues, the language, the interactions, but that is, what really the director is doing, right? Is helping to sort of peel back this language for everybody that's sitting in that audience, so that, and then activate it physically with the humans that are on the stage, so that it makes sense to us today. That language is old. Nobody speaks like that anymore. So it does take some time, for people to kind of go, oh yeah. Okay, I get this, but that's our job. Our job is to make it absolutely something that anybody can enter into.
I just want to remind our audience that we are talking to Karen Ann Daniels. She is overseeing and head of the Folger Shakespeare Library, but she's also artistic director at Folger Theatre. And their production right now is The Winter's Tale. It's going to be on until December the 17th. So you've got a couple of weeks to go and see it, and I would highly recommend that you do that. They are back in their space, in their original space there that is located in the library. It's beautifully done. It's a beautiful set. The scenic design for this play, but just the stage area itself is really beautiful. And I just want to also acknowledge that during the period that you were not there at your home location, you were in other spaces around town. And I did go to a Midsummer's Night Stream last year.
Yes.
That was at the Building Museum. And before you even got into the theater space itself, just the way the museum had been redone.
Yeah.
It was all about magic and mystery and, intrigue. And I loved all of that. And talk about some other things that you've got coming up at the Folger Theatre.
Yeah, it was some great stuff. I'm so glad you got to see Midsummer Night's Dream. That was it was an epic moment, I think, for us. Building a theater inside of a museum. So that was really fun. Coming up, we are going to be doing the Reading Room Festival in January. We started this festival this year to just bring plays in progress, essentially, and get audiences into the plays before they're completed. And these are all plays that are, sort of adapted from or inspired by Shakespeare, but to bring a diversity of voices and perspectives into the work, bringing both artists, bringing scholars together, and having sort of a conversation about how Shakespeare has inspired us, but then where do we take it from there? So this is an opportunity to sort of get in, have some conversations, see a play before it gets into, the theater spaces, and maybe follow the journey of some younger artists, diverse artists, as they step into their own as theater makers.
Well, I thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I appreciate knowing what you've got coming up. We will try to make sure that our audience, not only for WIN TV and Let's Talk, but also for the Washington Informer newspaper, know about the things that you're doing. It's universal. Shakespeare does speak to all of us in one form or another. So we want to make sure that people are hearing interesting and hearing diverse viewpoints in terms of how Shakespeare is interpreted in our theater world. So thank you, Karen Ann, for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Brenda. My pleasure to be here. I hope I get a chance to come back again.
Please, yes, welcome anytime. Thank you so very much. Let's go back to Denise.
That, as usual, that was a great interview. And yeah, we'd love to have Karen back. We haven't had you have brought to us, Brenda, which is what I like. DC has so much in the arts community. And a lot of times we limit ourselves to certain places. But the doors are open to us all over. And there are people behind the scenes that look like us, who are really trying to get us in there, and who are actually creating programming that they think will also attract us as well as, their general audiences. So thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. Right. I loved it. Believe it or not, believe it or not, The Winter's Tale was the 4th Shakespearean play that I have seen over the past year.
Wow.
Here in DC.
Wow. Nice. Okay.
I didn't realize it.
Wonderful. Yeah. I mean, I think I've only seen one in my lifetime. So thanks to you, I will be going. So that's a great thing. I want to thank, also, we got a little note here from Carolyn Brewer Books. She said she thinks we did an excellent program today. She certainly appreciated being a guest on our show. Yeah, thanks, Sherry, for putting that up. And, of course, working with those young people from Anacostia High School. So, we want to keep it going. We want to let folks know all the good things that are happening in our community. And thank you, Brenda, for bringing your piece to our show as well.
Thank you.
Well, have a great weekend. And on that note, I guess this brings us to the end of another edition of WIN TV. That's what it is. I know what it is. Brenda couldn't hear me. I got too many ear things in my ear. I am so sorry. And so, because I'm using these daggone earphones, I am sorry for anybody that didn't hear what I just said, but that's okay because it's time to go anyway. I want to make sure that I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy, eat to your heart's desire, but eat to your heart's health, and be safe, and think of all the things, despite everything that's happening in the world right now, but all the things that we can be thankful for. And one of those is I'm thankful for you and your support of the Washington Informer. Have a great weekend. our mayor for life, Marion S. Berry, who we lost a few years ago, but we now have a statue honoring him in front of the Wilson Building on Pennsylvania Avenue. And we are also in an office building named in his honor at 14th and U. You have been tenacious in making sure his memory is not forgotten. Not that anybody would ever forget him, because so many people owe their success to him. But now you've also fought hard, and I mean, it was a fight. It didn't come easily to get Good Hope Road renamed in your late husband's honor. So tell us about what's going to come up, I think, next Saturday, November the 18th. And the street renaming. There's a whole lot going on with regards to that. So tell us what we can expect.
Let me just say let me just correct two things. One, after the statue and the building, the statue was initiated by the mayor and was supported. The building was initiated by the city council. Of course, we played an active role in making sure it came off well. The street naming was initiated by the citizens and the residents of Ward 8, Barbara Jones and all of those. They did petitions. They stood out in the sun. When they came to me, I said, if you want it, you have to go get it. I'm not going to lead it, but I'll support you. When I came into it was when Phil Mendelson, a chairman of the city council, tried to stop it. And that's where the fight started. And to end all of that, our council member Trayon White initiated a legislation to change Good Hope Road that goes from Martin Luther King. That's where Marion and Martin meet again, because Martin was one of his mentors. And it goes all the way up to Ward 7, up to Naylor Road or Alabama Avenue.